Hi everyone. I'm going to share a guided exploration of the sense of being. That's what wants to come through. So I invite you to join me in this exploration. If you're driving and listening to this, just save it for another time. Just find a seat that's comfortable. Take a few deep breaths. Just relax the body. The body isn't what's following along, but it seems to help if the body's relaxed. And just notice this sense of being. That's here. And as you do that, as you direct attention toward the sense of being, within the sense of being, I'm going to share the story of what it feels like to be here. To be here is self-evident. I can't really say where here is, but the here-ness of here doesn't require thought to be validated. There's just here. There's just this. This is palpable, quiet, radiant, buzzing aliveness. It's a sense of presence. It's full to the brim. It does not have a location. I can't say that there's a point where it ends, or a point where it begins. This present sense of being feels eternal. It feels boundless. It feels spacious. I don't know how this here came to be, but I also can't find any experiential evidence that it ever started, that there was a before. That's the eternal quality of this. I can reference thought, which expresses ideas about this, but thinking isn't something that can feel. Thinking isn't something that can experience. Thinking can only appear and present an interpretation of experience, of experiencing. Even the descriptions that arose before, buzzing, radiance, presence, boundless, eternal, self-evident, warm, quiet, self-illuminating. Every way that I can describe this, this doesn't actually capture this. This sense of existence, which is also saying too much. No concept, description, pointing, no framework can actually describe this. You can't capture infinity and put it in a jar. But infinity can imagine that it could ever be finite. It can play with the idea that it can be finite, that it can come and go, that it can be limited, that it can actually be defined accurately with words. It's my experience as this, that this is what seems to be happening. This happening seems to be that. This seems to be the infinite, eternal, ever-present miracle of life, exploring itself through imagination. Formlessness explores itself as form, without ever truly becoming form. That's the transient nature of this. You can't capture what's always changing. Yet, the undivided radiance of this, the isness of this, never changes. The potentiality, the capacity for this experience, or this experiencing, never changes. It's never touched by the way experience seems to appear. And I don't know what it is that's putting it all together. I don't know what it is that's speaking. I don't know what's sensing. I don't know what's experiencing. I don't know what doesn't know. Because I can only find this. Whatever I am can't be other than that. You can't have infinity plus one. That just doesn't make any sense. So whatever is speaking has to be that. And since there's no room for anything other than this, there's just this infinite this. There can't really be this plus something called words. These words have to be made of infinity, given that there's only infinity. Only through the miracle of imagination can awakeness, that without a second, ever apparently experience the impossibility of distinction. Infinity isn't a really big amount of something. It's the absence of a boundary. These qualities like infinity, eternity, wholeness, oneness, God, the divine, truth. They seem to be best described apophatically. By what they're not. Infinity is the absence of boundaries, the absence of space. I can't find a perimeter to here. I can't find where this ends. And I can't find where this begins. I also can't remember a time when this wasn't here. When there wasn't this. Whatever it is. Whatever I am. Whatever's here. Eternity is not a lot of time. It's the absence of time. I can't actually find an experiential reference point that indicates when this started and when this will end. I can only find thinking, expressing ideas. But that's just thinking, appearing in this, as this. Ideas about this can't actually say anything about the experiencing of this. So this here is infinite and eternal. When I suffer, I forget this. I forget the natural qualities of my existence, so to speak. Not Boh's existence. There is no Boh. When I, this here now, forget the simple completeness of what I am, I desperately seek to remember this, to remember home. But I often do it from the false position of limitation. I seek as someone that needs to be whole again, that needs to be better. Every story of lack, every story of there's something wrong with me, I'm not good enough, I should be better, I need control, I need to feel secure, I need to feel superior. All of those ideas are just reminders to come home, where you never left. The real you. This. The appearance of those stories doesn't mean that they're true. A thought is just a thought. If a thought arises about pink elephants or the Prime Minister of America or a Boh, that's a living method teacher, it doesn't mean that the thought is actually expressing anything that's happening. This sense of lack is a false reference. It's an idea pointing at nothing at all. But it's intense. And that transient idea feels intense because it desperately wants to be permanent. It wants to be real, like the reality it's already made of. It needs your attention. That's its movement. I want to feel like shit about myself because at least I exist as someone. That isn't good enough. It's innocent, but an idea is just an idea. Whatever it is that we are, this field of aliveness, radiant spaciousness, we don't need to believe in limitation to be okay. We already are the peace that we're looking for. We will never find what we are through holding on to ideas and trying to control and manage experience. It's not possible. It only brings suffering. All we ever have to do is stop and examine what it actually feels like to be this here-ness, this sense of being. This verbing of life, this already whole and complete expression of awakeness, the potentiality that we are. No words can capture this. They can only point. But the good news is that it's already here. There's only you, my love. There's only this. You are already home, as home. You are already free, as freedom itself. May truth continue to know itself through infinite gradations of clarity. Thank you for listening.